touch that one. Italy, this is going to be their first match in the World Cup, so we are going to be looking at those star players from last year, particularly being Dugo and Rambo. I'm not too sure if both are playing. I do see Dugo's me in there though. So well, it looks like we're going to go straight to DS Yoshi Falls opting in from a BNL.
Trying to see. Planned lineup for Italy was Dugo, Alex, Trattor, Dalkir, and Walpurgis.
Okay. Yeah, and I did see Leo, May, and Jeff from the side of BNL. Wasn't sure on who the other two were, but we'll probably see that sometime later in the race. But DS Yoshi Falls picked just because Jeff is obviously hosting. He's very good at this track. He will be able to most likely hold this front run for the majority of the race unless anything does seem to happen to him. But Green Shell in first place, he should be able to just hold this and pretty much fend off any Italy members who do seem to get up. It does seem like top two right now as Leo does get into second place. Interesting from the baggers, we actually do see only one bagger is going backwards, which does seem to be Italy's bagger. Seems like BNL opting to just decide to go 5-man run this race, possibly, just because it's very unlikely that you can actually get a shock that does too much, since it's very late in lap 3 that you tend to see shocks on this track. Blue Shell does come in though, so that's probably going to knock Jeff out of first.
No, still no. Oh, it does knock Jeff out of first, but it's Benelux
Top
coming
3,
back, so and Sander behind them, so top 4 coming in so far.
Yeah, hopefully Italy did manage to get the shock if they would be trying to use it sometime now, but it seems like a good strategy from BNL, just decide to, I guess it was all 5 running, but late shock does come in and that is able to get Italy dodge into second. That was Dalkir actually coming up from Switzerland, so I guess that did help it kind of helped, but I still think that was good from BNL just going for the 5 races. They were able to dominate that top pack and they still did get the 1-3-4. Well played from Walpurgis just to get that shock for them to at least secure them second place, but still a very good race for BNL, and then they're going to be able to pick another front running track and most likely do the same thing. Since this BNL squad, we do have to say that they do have a lot of front running advantages over this Italy squad. We do have quite a lot of mid pack players and people who are good with their items from Italy, but it will depend a lot on shock this war. I'm not too sure if you agree with that.
Yeah, I think the shock will be majorly important. Obviously, we know that Benelux have got players like Jeff who are quite good at running, but Italy could do quite a lot of damage. They've got a few people that are not so known at running, but are very strong still nonetheless. And
right, exactly. We are going to be going to Mario Circuit though, so one of Italy's picks there. They just need to get some sort of luck track so they can try and get some dodges and possibly just shroom up. But I think the main thing to note in this war is because it's a 5v5, it's going to be a lot more skill based in terms of bagging. Obviously when it's a 6v6 there's a lot more likely to get that shock in 11th than it is to get it in 9th in a 10 player room, so we're probably going to be seeing more shocks pulled in 10th in this room, so it's definitely going to be down to the baggers to try and help out, and they're definitely going to need to get it on a track like Mario Circuit.
Mario Circuit is indeed a track where the shock will help a lot. We're going to be seeing Jeff here in 6th place now with a star.
He should hold this for a long time.
Yeah, that's getting held. There is no reason to be using that any time soon. I mean, even if the other team have the shock, he should be the one predicting late usage. May and Omega trying to prevent some of Italy's members holding their items. Right. Dalkir, though, right behind Jeff, trying to stop him.
So shock probably not in play at the moment. May did go backwards just to try and get that Maga out of Dalkir, which he did successfully. Just still holding his star though, so possible shock did just come in for the side of BNL. It's a very tight pack for Mario Circuit, and he'll be able to chain this in 7th or so. So he's going to get some form of shrooms. He actually does get it into 6th now. Probably going to be seeing him chaining it this set.
Yeah,
the popular shock spot.
Should be a second. No, okay, actually, he's opting slightly late.
2 BNL in stars, and they use it after the boxes, so I'm guessing they did not have shock, possibly going for a prediction.
Yeah.
Triple shrooms in 4th, and this is going to give him pretty much a guaranteed first. I don't think... Well, shock does come in right at the end, and I think that was Dalkir again dodging up in a star, possibly. No,
that's
it was
Trattor getting first, but 2, 3... No, not 2, 3, 4.
Oh no, they get 3, 4, 5.
3, 4, 5, but yeah, Italy doing quite well towards the end. Benelux tried to predict, but it wasn't a predictable shock, and not worked out well for them as Italy win that 33-28.
The one thing I don't really agree on there from Jeff's end is Sander was already in a star, so they used both of their dodges when they knew they didn't have shock. I think it would have been a lot better for Sander just to let his star run out, and then if Jeff chained on that pretty much that bridge set, he probably would have got the dodge in like third or so and then would have won the race. But they used their stars at the same time. Italy able to punish them for that and actually get that dodge, and then Alex was able to grow bigger than Thomas and Jeff. So the top two coming out from Italy is going to help them a lot, and seems their Mario Circuit track pick definitely went their way.
Yeah, Mario Circuit's helped out quite a lot. I'm just very quickly seeing if I can moderate someone who needs moderator. There we go. Oh, that's mod. Yes, that's the mod button. Hello. So we do
That's
have
the mod button.
That is the mod button, but after using the mod button, we're going to be having a look at Cooper Cape coming from Benelux and mix of Peach Beach and BC3 coming from Italy. Looks like Cooper Cape is the selection there.
So even though Italy did actually get their top two, they still opt in for these more shock-reliant, luck-eccentric tracks like Peach Beach. But we're going to be going over to Casey anyway from B&L, and they're just confident in their front-run ability. Players like Jeff, he's probably going to be able to get something like a triple shrooms first box and then just get into first with it, or possibly just a single. Actually does get the box in third though, so he's not going to get anything. Might be able to take Shroomba with this red shell. Yeah, it looks like he's able to take Shroomba. And Tratio actually failed Shroomba there as well, so he's actually going to get put into first. Not going to last long, since we're going to see a lot of Shrooms coming up from the bottom of the pack, most likely. I mean, that's actually very surprising that no one passed him on that area then. You usually see two people at least get Goldens.
Yeah, no one's passed him, but there was someone in a star behind him, and this is only lap one. A lot of people will be able to pass him on this waterfall cut that's coming up as well. That's going to definitely help them all together. We see Sander behind Jeff though, so top two at the moment going to Benelux.
Sander should be able to just fend off these early members. This is a front-running track, even though there are a lot of grass cuts, you can still get a good breakaway just from your team helping you out. So these 2-3 from B&L should be looking just to start back spamming, maybe schlag a bit for Jeff just to get a break. Because he is the main front-runner in this war, I think we can all agree with.
Yeah,
but he's still able to hold his first.
Jeff's going to be the main name here for front running, but we have seen the last few races where shocks have done a lot of damage, and Walpurgis looks like he could be the candidate to have the shock at the moment. So
yeah. So talking about the shock, I think shock definitely is in play, as Jeff is about to get blued out first here eventually. But shock's probably in play. We don't see either of the baggers at that popular strat where you just wait for the boxes to fall on your head. So someone does have shock. We're not too sure who it is, but B&L still have that top three after that blue shell, and Italy definitely do need to try and get shock. I think that was actually a top four as you look backwards. Yeah, it is a top four at the moment. Italy need a shock here. After first set would be great for get chains. Doesn't look like anything's going to come in now though, and he does get a Shroom in third, able to take Shroom, but and then he's going to use a Shroom for the grass cut up here. And Italy really needs to get something going sometime soon, or this is just going to be an easy front run for B&L.
Dugo's coming up, but I think that's all Italy have got. That might be a golden strat coming in from Dugo actually, but
yeah, that's going to leave him first. I think that
no, he's getting readied. Yeah, and the blue's going for him.
Goes for him as well. So Jeff should be set for this. A shock most likely will come in for last set, so I don't think Jeff should risk going for the waterfall cut. But even with a Shroom in first, I think he's going to get first anyway. We'll see if he does decide to risk for it. I think he should just be smart and not decide to. Yeah, well played from Jeff actually. So the shock did come in, so quite a lot of greedy players would actually go for that. He's going to get blued on the line for it as well. So that's actually going to send him back down to, I think, 7th place he might have got there.
7th, and I think Italy can claim a winning race off that. Yes, they can. So that's going to be...
Look at the 1-3, so Italy definitely out bagging. I can't actually see who is bagging for the side of B&L. So May actually got 9th that race. When he was, it looks like B&L are just going for 5 runners all war, and Italy are going for that bagger. So although B&L do have 5 runners against their 4 runners, which is an advantage, and they do have the better runners, you're practically giving Italy a free shock every race, and we've seen all 3 shocks for them able to salvage the race. On Yoshi Falls they used it just to make sure they didn't get top 3'd. Mario Circuit obviously we did just play and they were able to get top 2 from that. And then once again they were able to get the shock and the blue at the last set. So Jeff, even though he played that well and didn't go into the waterfall, he still went from 1st to 7th. Just because they're pretty much giving Italy these 3 shocks. So I think if this carries on and B&L aren't able to get a substantial lead, I think that was actually a DC from someone. There is a 9 in room, but
yeah.
I think B&L should start opted for bagging. Maybe just send someone backwards, or maybe sub in a bagger if they do have one available, because not bagging in a 10-player room is very disrespectful to the other team, and it just allows them to get a lot of shocks. We'll have to see who that was that DC'd though, but we're going to go to another Italy pick. Looks like we're
That's
actually just going to press DC.
yeah, it's
They didn't re-
unfortunately a sit DC, which means I may get to show off the conditionals logo of Doom.
Oh, yes.
But, oh
Yes,
yes.
conditions. We're definitely going to be showing that one off. Did you just make that then?
I have
Because
just
I
made
saw,
that.
yeah, I saw there was connection interrupted all the time when they were doing the conditionals.
Yeah, we literally we haven't even got a Photoshop template for that, so I've had to just kind of make it myself. But
That's good. I like the little homebrew in the background.
yeah, well we're all
We'll
going to see it very soon. I've got to make a look. It does unfortunately look like we will be having to make this fantastic graphic, as I am going to have to leave this call for a moment because I'm having to do condies.
Oh, Tom's doing condies.
Okay, hello. We are back after conditionals. Hopefully, we'll have Ace join us soon. Hopefully, everyone enjoyed the conditionals symbol, the fantastic touch that was. We actually didn't have a graphic for that to begin with, so very useful to get something at least, even if it is a bit homemade. We'll be calling Ace right now. And there we go. So I've got a...
It's me.
It is you. We are sharing screens. We are there.
Have you already said that Sora's subbing?
Sora is subbing in for Sander. I think Benelux don't want to risk Sander's net because it has been disconnecting quite frequently over the last week. So
okay,
they just don't want him to DC and cost a whole race or anything.
So yeah, we're actually going to be seeing for the first time both of BNL's new additions in this war. So obviously Jeff is going to be playing for BNL this year, and then we do have Sora, also from Belgium, is going to be playing in this war for him. And I think Sora is at least on par, if not better than Sander. I know Sander's not as active as Sora, so still going to be a good substitution for them. I did have a quick word with Jeff during the little conditionals break, and he actually did just confirm that they're not going to try and suicide this war for the whole war, just because I don't think anyone wants to, and they're most likely confident in winning without it. We've seen it work quite well for Italy. Of course, they have had some help with quite a lot of blue shells, which we've seen connect with Jeff already, but they're able to get 3 shocks, and it's helped them a lot. So Italy only down 7 points, as you can see from the scoreboard, against this BNL squad. So if they can keep this up, they could be looking to possibly make another upset win. We've already seen BNL get an upset over Germany, so if Italy beat BNL, does that mean Italy are better than Germany?
Oh,
because that's the logic in MKWC. That's how it works.
That is totally the logic, but I'm sure this match people will say it's 5v5. There was no bagger, but
yeah,
there's a lot of different factors. I'm sure this is a lot closer of a cup than we probably anticipated. We knew that there were some teams that could take on the tops.
Right.
On the best day, but we didn't realise that the first day would be a huge upset.
Of course. And the thing is, though, although Italy have kept it close, they've done that because they've had a shock every race. What happens if randomly BNL somehow get shock in 9th when they're running and they already have like a top 4 break? So, although this war is close, it has been due to the shock and the assistance that they've got from it. So I reckon that there might be one race this war. We might not see it, but I reckon, from my personal prediction, there might just be a race sometime in the future where BNL are able to get shock in 9th, and then they're just able to crack open the war. But for now, it's only going to be a 7-point deficit. We're going to be seeing that Peach Beach come in once again. Obviously, not a repick since we did have to sit DC on it last time. And Moonview Highway, very standard pick coming out from BNL when they have May and Jeff in this lineup, and they're going to be looking to just go for those front run oriented tracks. Scores 93 to 90 apparently.
93 to 90. I'll count. I'll redo that.
I trust Dugo because he's playing. So it's not a 5-point lead. It's only an actual 3-point lead. So even better for Italy. We're gonna have to see if they can keep up and keep getting those shocks and blues to help them out in terms of pack play. But Jeff's gonna be starting in first on Moonview Highway. Pretty good track to get a breakaway. And as soon as I say that, he actually does get random rebound greened over there from Dalkir. So he's gonna drop all the way back to 3rd place. But it's still Thomas in first, and it's still, like we said, well, Jeff did just do that. It's still a top 3 at the moment. I think Sora actually did get knocked back, but they do still have a top 2 up there from what I'm aware of. But pretty unfortunate play from Jeff. He did kind of hit the wall and then get hit into that truck. But this is what I'm talking about. He is in 9th right now. He is trying to get that shock in 9th. Possibly he actually does get Bill, so that's just going to mean Italy are going to get that shock. But although Italy are going to get shock, if Jeff can manage to predict a shock with this, he should be able to get back into those top spots, as the pack is pretty spread out for a lap 2 Moonview Highway beginning.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of track where very often shrooms don't help, so these dodges are going to be ever so important, because...
We actually do see 2 TCs coming out from Italy as soon as you say that. So TC getting passed over earlier on in the lap. Dugo forced to use a star, and you were just saying how important those stars and bills are, and if you're forced to use it, they actually do use the shock early. So Jeff not able to get his prediction. 2-star dodges coming out for Italy, and triple shrooms are not going to be too good for him. I'm not going to be surprised if he just decides to spam these for a chain.
No, he's
decides to hold on to both.
Holding on to both, but I think he's going to just chain it as soon as he can at this point.
It's next set. There's no need to hold a shroom in 7th.
There is no need. He's going to be getting that box, yeah.
Very tight pack though, so anything like triple reds or a bomb, as soon as I say a bomb, Sora actually does manage to drop one onto Dugo. So yeah, any of those offensive items are going to help out as we get to the later stages of this race. Golden in 5th, he's not going to be able to get anything ready from it. Second shock does come in. We do see a bill dodge and another star dodge from Italy, so 2 shocks for them, and that's actually going to possibly give them a winning race. We're not too sure.
No.
Sora does get past. Oh no.
They were top 5 going in. Oh no, they weren't top 5 going into the last turn. Hello, May.
No. I think Italy have definitely helped out. I think Sora were back here. Yeah, so they do get the 1-3-5. Although Italy did get 2 shocks, it's still going to be a BNL race. But we did see pretty much Leo and Thomas in that top 2 all race. So Jeff was most likely going to get 4th place from that golden he was spamming in 5th. But this is what happens when you don't decide to bag. You pretty much just give Italy the ability to use shocks lap 2 because they know that they're going to get another one just because they're the only bagger.
And that was a 34-27, so Benelux now up 10. Again, not a huge amount, but not fantastic of a race for Italy. And they've got to hope that the momentum can just kind of swing their way with the shocks. Because if Benelux do have a few of those races where they are in a lot of the top spots and they can't dodge up or catch up towards the end, they are in a bit of trouble.
And this is just kind of judging with the skill level. So obviously Italy were the bottom, well, in the bottom tier teams from what I'm aware of, I think along with Australia going into the World Cup. So we've seen, although Italy are getting multiple shocks a race, getting blues, although they did get a few TCs, which was pretty unlucky for them, BNL are still able to get race wins even though there's 2 shocks a race coming in. So gonna go to Peach Beach, very luck based track. As you can see, all of this water actually comes out lap 2, so shrooms are going to be great for Jeff. He's most likely going to hold these just for that ocean part lap 2.
Yeah.
Oh, we actually... Okay, so we see B&O actually racing backwards now. As you can see from the baggers, they have decided, look, these 2 shocks a race are getting pretty ridiculous. We need to just try and stop them getting that every race. I think they did send May backwards, which I thought would be the most likely candidate to drive back. But we do have a top 2 at the moment. Not going to stay top 2 as Jeff uses his second shroom, but do go goldening, it looks like. And he's going to be able to hold that first unless he gets sniped by Jeff coming up to this corner.
I mean, there's definitely a possibility, but I think third is Trator, so... Probably not going to want to lose his greens unless he knows that there's no need for protection.
He decides to backspam, and he isn't going to get redded since he did have that Nana as well. But triple Nanas might be trying to get a snipe, might just hold them out because we do see triple greens from Tratior. He does actually get the draft as well, so that's going to be a top 2 for Italy. Blue Shell does come in from the BNL side, so that's going to send Dugo back. They actually do decide to go with the blue cancel though, so another Italy shock, and I think that's actually going to hold their top 2. Looks like Trator actually... might got hit a bit, and this shroom might take Jeff to first.
It does! So what a play!
Dugo deciding to swerve Nana actually cost him. I still think Jeff may have got the first place just because he was going to grow bigger, but...
yeah, he did.
Dugo trying to go for the 50-50 risk and try and hit Jeff, but Jeff able to avoid that, and he's going to get first place for it. And although Italy did get shock again, I still think this is most likely going to be a race win for BNL. Might be 2-3 though for Italy because we did see Dugo and Trator at the front of the pack as well.
As you said.
Yeah, I don't think the swerve Nana mattered, like Akane just said. I think it was still getting first regardless.
Oh, that's really not good for Italy to see.
Okay, so Trator actually got hit down to 6th, so not too sure what happened to him. I think when Dugo got blued, he might have got caught in the aftermath where you actually spin out from it. Because it looked like he was getting a free first place. Although Dugo did get blued, he still should have got first, but something must have happened to him and he got comboed or something. He got sent down to 6th place. So 1-3-4 coming out from BNL. We'll have to see if May decides to bag for the rest of the war and sacrifices individuals for the team.
Yeah, that was a 37-24 race, so Benelux doing really well there.
Right.
Despite the fact that Italy had the shock, they were able to do the damage. That blue cancel wasn't enough to prevent anything.
So apparently Dugo actually wheelie bumped Chatior when he was standstill mini turboing.
Ooh.
So unlucky communication from the side of Italy, I suppose. We're going to go to Waluigi Stadium and didn't see who picked it, but I'd be very surprised if it wasn't B&L, since this is another front run based track. There's only one real shortcut you can do, and that's the mud shortcut coming up in the next few turns. But Jeff should be able to front run this with confidence. He's going to get a fib. He's going to hold out though, because quite a lot of B&L members are up here. He doesn't want to risk hitting his own team. Well, does hit the wall there, so he's going to slow him down a little bit. Thomas actually also very good at this track as well, but Dalkir able to use that shortcut I talked about and shroom into first. Might have 2 more shrooms depending on what item he actually used to get into first.
Oh, and Jeff does make the strat there to skip the turn.
Yeah, so he actually did have shrooms, like I just said, or he just didn't get an item after the cut, which is probably the unlikely option. So Jeff, well played to get that red shell and punish Dalkir for that. Looks like Dalkir did use his shroom, so he still is in second, but he gets back greened as soon as I say that from Jeff, and he's going to be able to dodge the power as well, so probably a B&L power coming in.
Not going to be seeing Jeff take the shortcut, but second and third. Not going to be second. Will third. Third will,
Very
so...
break right now as well.
Yeah, first there's a break, and then there's a battle between 2, 3... Oh, Jeff!
Actually makes a little bit of a misplay, and that's going to give Dugo first place from that. I think Sora's battling with him as well, the Rosalina main, which you don't see too many people who don't use Funky or Daisy all the time, but Sora's one of those exceptions, as he does fail a little bit as well. So Dugo's got a decent little break for himself in first. Baggers May seems to be going forwards, possibly chasing. I think both of the baggers are just trying to hit each other. I think May might have shock though. We'll have to see.
We'll have to see. Jeff will be trying to take this shortcut up here. Going to be one of the... No, Dugo takes it as well.
So Dugo might have a third shroom in first right now. We're not entirely sure. Depends if any back spam comes in, but we haven't seen any from Dugo, so might still have that next shroom. Looks like he's just going to be holding it. Possible TS is going to come in. We do see this TS spot a lot from these teams, so we'll have to see who actually falls from it. Jeff might decide to slam into the wall. Dugo stopping a little bit. Well played from Dugo. Oh, he actually does get shocked off, so even though he slowed down, he got shocked off, and that's going to be 1-3 possibly, I think, as Thomas did get that third place.
Are we going to have a hashtag pray for Dugo? Is it
Dugo
happening this tournament?
I'm going to quickly just watch the replay to see whereabouts Dugo got. So he did slow down, he dropped that green, he got TS'd, and that respawn sent him... Oh no, Dugo actually got 8th place from that. We'll have to see, but I'm pretty sure that completely ruined him.
It's really unfortunate for him, but...
We'll have to see.
He tried predicting, but the Benelux team could coordinate it quite well and did manage to TS him regardless.
Right. So yeah, 2-3-4 actually coming out. So something must have happened to Thomas on the line. Maybe just back green hit him or something or other. But Dugo gets sent all the way down to 8th. So good job from May deciding to actually start bagging and getting that shock for Italy. Oh, for B&L, sorry. But I think Dugo maybe could have done a better job at, I think, even sacrificing your first place just to make sure you wasn't TS'd, because if Italy didn't have the shock, then I think they should pretty much realise 100% they're going to go for a TS on me. But he did slow down a little bit, not able to get it fully though, and he still did get shocked off. But I think that was a winning race for Italy nonetheless.
Yeah, it was a 33-28 in favour of Italy. They did quite well with that 2-3-4. They've got to keep these kind of races up though, because a few more slips and you could get to the point where Benelux's running ability is too much for them to make these small wins.
Right. And we see this from a Battle Alliance as well, which is a predominantly Italian clan before quite a lot of other regions decide to join it. But they're just pretty much spamming luck tracks. Even if they do get like a 2-3-4 is very good for them. They can just hit first out and decide to front run, but they still are just going all for all these luck tracks and hoping that the shocks can be in their favour and items can be in their favour. But DK Summit anyway going to come in, and Jeff probably not going to hold his first for too long, since we're going to see people take that snow shortcut. Even though it's only a little bit of saved time, someone's most likely going to take it and pass him. We'll have to see.
We're going to have to see. He does enter the cannon in first, which means he's going to be getting a fib. He could back fib maybe. He's going to be trying it. Does connect with a member of the Italian squad, I believe, so they'll be having one person go down.
So it doesn't look like anyone was able to take the grass shotgun and pass him from it. It looks like he should have a pretty good attempt at going for the double shotgun first. Takes it quite well on the first section. Very clean double coming out from Jeff, and that's just going to extend his lead as second place decided to just go for that single shortcut. And as long as Jeff doesn't do anything like he did last race, this should be a very good first place for him to hold. Leo was the one actually in second, so do have a top two, pretty much a top two break. Second isn't too far ahead, but Jeff does have a really comfortable lead right now.
Yeah, Jeff's going to have this good lead. We've got to see May get out the way there. Hopefully not having any penalties for this match. There have been a few already for the World Cup, but Jeff's got
most likely just going to go for this double in first again on the second lap, sorry. Does make it once again.
No, he doesn't.
No, he actually didn't get any air on the second one, so I think when he actually tried to hop, he got like jolted sideways, and it kind of just ruined his alignment, and then he got a weird bounce from it as well. So, gonna send him down to third. Not too much of a problem since his team are actually one's behind him. So the only thing that means is Jeff's not gonna get blued if one does come in. But spams his Nana's back. Doesn't look like he's gonna be able to get anyone, and that's gonna be a top 3 dodge for the side of BNL, and that's just gonna be another shock for May. So deciding to bag has helped him out a lot, and this should be a top 3 in the bag.
Should be top 3. Looks like Leo. No, that was a bit of lag. I was going to say he might have been caught in the snow, but he did lag. Hopefully there's no double fails or anything that's going to absolutely kill races. Jeff's just failed the double again.
Just decides, look, I don't care. I think this is probably going to cost them the top 3, though. Actually, it does able to actually hold it. I think everyone pretty much failed. So somehow Jeff goes from having a slight breakaway in third, failing double, and then having an even bigger breakaway in third. So God knows what that was all about, but it somehow still worked for them, and that's just going to be a top 3. So ever since May's gone backwards, I mean, Peach Beach doesn't really count since he went backwards halfway through the race, so obviously they weren't able to get the shock. But the 2 races that May's properly bagged on, which was RWS and now DK Summit, he's able to get shock both times, and although they did lose last time...
Oh, Jeff. Jeff, hello. Hello, Jeff. That's going to be a 44 to 27. I'm a 44 to 17, sorry.
That's an unfunny cringe, if I say so myself. He was able to get the 42 MVP anyway, so he's still GP MVP'd, although that was quite a suspicious lap 2 and lap 3 double coming out from Jeff, but he still was able to get third. God knows how he managed.
I can't count. I'm very sorry. I'll redo that.
Top 3-5 coming out for BNL anyway, and if they just keep bagging, maybe May might decide to think, oh look, we've actually got a decent lead now, I'll just run again. But I think May's already sacrificed his indiv, so he might as well just keep bagging and give BNL the point difference they're looking for. Italy aren't completely out of the war, although it is quite a substantial lead, 35 points as Tom adds it up. It's still comebackable for Italy, but they just need to start getting these baggers, and we don't really see May bag too much in general. I don't know if you know if he's a bagger or if he has any experience bagging in general, but it seems to be working for him so far.
He's had a little bit of experience, but it's not been the most recent experience.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. But we do have, how many races are there left? About
5, I think.
So we played 3 and then 4. So, going to be doing a full GP and then 1 left. And Luigi Circuit spams, probably most likely going to be coming out from Italy until it does get picked. And once again, we're going to be seeing more of a front run based track come out from the side of BNL. Looks like we're going to be going to Coconut Mall once again. Jeff has his always picked host code on, as it does pick Jeff once again, going for that Coconut Mall. And there is quite a, not an overpowered shortcut, but quite a substantial shortcut, as you'll see most likely players will pass Jeff, as we do have quite an extended shortcut where you can go through the mall coming up here. Jeff might decide to actually spam some nanas in front of it to block it, we'll have to see. No, it just decides to hold him for protection, but I don't think Jeff should be holding his first place here, as we're going to see people take the cut. If Jeff holds first after that, so I don't understand this. Like, how did not one person get triple shrooms or a golden and pass him on that? But well played from Jeff anyway, just showing off his good lines, and he was actually able to hold his first place. And he should just be able to hold this for quite a while now, because the pack does get more and more spread out as races do go on. As you can see, people are already getting hit back, and these players in 2 and 3 probably aren't going to be having triple shrooms to take the full cut, so Jeff should be able to hold his first unless an early blue or shock does come out from Italy.
Yeah, and as we can see, that red is going to be not doing too much. He could even back fib on one of these turns if he really wants to. Looks like that's going to be his attempt, but doesn't connect with second at least. Jeff still first though. And as you may see in the chat, vote hashtag BNL win or hashtag ITA win, depending on who you think can clutch this. Can Italy come back from a 35-point deficit?
I'm going for my boys at BNL. I think they're going to pull this one out. They've been doing really well in the last few races. Jeff still has held his first place. There hasn't been a single millisecond in this race where Jeff hasn't been in first. Does get a ground star as well, so although Italy might have shock, well played from May to realise, oh, I might as well still try and help out my team in some way. Hits the car, drops the star for Jeff. Dodge obviously isn't going to come in because it'd be a bit foolish for them to call shock when Jeff is in a star in first, but that's just going to give him an even bigger lead. And even with a shock, I don't think Jeff's going to lose this first unless there's another combo blue like we saw in Cooper Cape.
I think he's probably safe, unless the dodge is like a bill in second or something. But even the bill goes high, so it would lose time. So probably not even then.
We're probably going to be seeing a shock right here sometime in the next 5 seconds if a team does have it. Last set chain doesn't look like anyone actually does have it though. Well, maybe B&L were just in too many dodges for Italy to use it, but it looks like it's a possible top 3 coming out. Leo is in second. I think I saw Sora back there as well. Don't think Sora actually was able to get third. I think he did get hit back there at the end, but still top 2 for B&L, and they've got to be happy with that Italy didn't get shock.
I think this is the kind of race that Benelux needed to break away from Italy. Italy have been doing rather well so far to kind of at least minimise the damage with the shocks, but now that May is bagging, it's been going a lot more of Benelux's way.
Yeah, and like we both iterated at the start of the war, it's a bit silly to decide not to bag against the team, but as soon as they were realising, look guys, we're not winning these tracks by enough as we should be, being a arguably better team, as most people would say, May's decided, look, if this keeps happening and Italy do get a really good race and get a top 4, they could be out of it. But May decided to go back. They get the top 2-4. They've had 2 really good races in a row, actually, and it's just going to extend their lead further and further. And Italy are just going to be trying to maybe push for a late GP win. We do have 4 races left. So we're going to be looking at Italy trying to go for that. If not, they're just going to try and keep their point differential down to see if they can. But probably going to be seeing LC come out from Italy again. There's no reason for them to not pick it, even though they are bottom spots. But Bowser's Castle. And this is what you call a war. It's like a CT war, so track picks are so important. If we keep seeing these front-running tracks come out from B&L when they're consistently getting top spots in a row, it's just going to ruin it. And we do actually get with Jeff again, and I think something dodgy is coming up here, because it's decided to pick Jeff quite a lot recently, ever since the quote-unquote conditionals.
No, there's nothing fancy going on. He had CTs turned off.
I know, he's on green line. But anyway, it looks like it's going to go for the V&L pick once again, and them having top 2-4 on a track like this where there's no shortcuts at all except for the glitch, but I don't think anyone on this Italy squad's very consistent at doing glitch. So they're just going to be looking to try and hope for blues and shocks to help them. They need to get Jeff out of first because we've seen him on the last track just get a substantial break, and they already have that top 3, so Jeff's not in any sort of trouble from a snipe or some sort of red shell coming in for him, so he's just going to hold his red and just try and front run them.
I mean, let's have a quick look at Dalkir. We haven't used his view too much, but we do see he's in 7th place at the minute with a Mega.
Right, so Dalkir is using that Daisy, so Daisy obviously more optimal at doing this glitch. So we might possibly see him try and risk glitch whilst holding his Mega. Most likely just going to hold his Mega and be safe and look for a dodge though, but he's got it all the way back in 8th. And there starts to be a point where you realise, is it worth holding my dodge anymore? But I still think it's worth, although he's in 8th, it is still a relatively tight pack. Does actually use it a little bit early, possibly hoping for a star chain. Doesn't actually get his star chain though, and he just gets the triple shrooms. I don't agree with him using it there. Just a little bit risky to try and go for that, but you might go for shroom glitch. It is 100cc, so a lot harder to do than it would be on 150 or mirror, but we still have a very substantial top 3 break for Jeff, Sora and Leo. He's going to decide to risk it all when he does hit the metal part of that, and he isn't able to get through the wall successfully. So that's just going to pretty much increase their lead, and I think this is a top 3-5 right now for B&L. They only have Tratio up there. Could possibly switch to Jeff to see if Jeff can try and hit Italy's member out of the top spot. He does have a green show in third. Might try and back it and call for his team. Just decides to hold it and be safe with his top 3 though, which is a good idea, of course.
Yeah, he's wanting to play defensive. There could be a shot coming in. That's a blue. Looks like Sora actually dodged the blue, so yeah. That's one thing.
So they might have actually let Sora stay in first just to dodge a possible blue. I think Leo might have got target powered off there. We do see him actually just disappear, so it's only going to be top 2 for now. Shocks probably is in play. We haven't seen one, and in 2 minutes and 20 seconds you would think that a shock would be in play from one of the baggers unless they trolled out of the other. Does decide to back his red and hits the Italy member, so that might possibly help the rest of the B&L bottom spots catch up. Doesn't seem to be a shock coming in though. We do see both of the baggers right next to each other, so shock probably not in play, and I think this is going to be a safe top 2 for B&L.
Safe top 2, and it looks like they might be getting 4th or 5th there, so quite a strong race for them if they could get that spot, but Italy again slipping a little bit more behind every single race. There is a point when you wonder if it's possible for them to come back, and there will soon be a point where they're mathematically impossible to come back, but there is still quite the chance if they get 1 or 2 lucky races, depending on the results of this, but they will at some point rely on all 5 running if they do have 1 or 2 more bad races, but that race, I believe, will be a 37-24 in favour of Benelux.
And it's just increasing their lead. I mean, getting another top 2. I think with 3 races left, we're most likely looking at B&L pretty much closing off the wall already, unless Italy can get some kind of miraculous comeback with multiple top 3s and top 4s, but possibly just going for a point differential. It's nearly 70-point lead as we go into the last 3 races, so very unlikely that we're going to be seeing Italy go to get this win. They still do have mathematical chances to, though, but I think track picks have helped out a lot for B&L. Although B&L were pretty much favourites to win this race, we have seen them get the last 4 track picks, I think, in a row. So desperately Italy are still spamming LC, but we're just picking B&L track after B&L track after B&L track. And if they keep picking these front-running tracks, there's nothing Italy can really do to get these players who are better front-runners out of these top spots straight away. So unlucky track picks for the side of Italy, and it's just the latter half of this war has definitely not gone their way.
No, it's not gone their way, and with this race and 2 after this left, if this race goes really well for Benelux, it will be mathematically impossible for Italy to come back. We do see Sora with a TC. He should make cannon in time, though.
Alright, so Sora's going to hold his first. Italy did get a nice red shot onto Jeff, so at least they've managed to get him, which is definitely a big front-running presence out of those top spots. We do see Sora still in first. Thomas is obviously up there in 4th. And we do have May actually winning the bagging battle, from what I'm aware of. So possible shock coming in for Jeff as well, as he does actually decide to bag for an item. Maybe trying to get a bill. Oh, he actually does get the bill on 8th, so that's just going to pretty much mean that whatever bagger hits the next box is going to get shocked. We're going to have to quickly have a look at the baggers. It's very, very close, but I think Italy's bagger is just about in the lead, so they might actually get shock. Obviously, shock isn't in play, as they both had to do the respawn backward strat. Italy does just hit the box there first, so they might have got shock, or May might have cheesed it in 9th, but shock is most likely in play after that box, as Jeff is still holding his bill.
That
does he use it early?
Play. Dodging early spots? Yes, it is! That's going to be dodging.
Okay, so I'm actually surprised that I think that was an Italy shock.
Yeah, it was an Italy shock, and Jeff predicted them to dodge top 2, and they did do so, and he is now Benelux's best hope of stopping Italy from being in with a chance of at least coming close.
So he knew May didn't get shock, he knew he was holding Bill, so it had to be in play, and he saw Italy in these top 2 spots, so well played for him to use his Bill to at least try and keep up with these top 2. They do have a slight break over Jeff, so he's going to be looking at trying to get some form of shrooms. Nanas probably won't do too much for him, but this should be a safe top 2 unless Jeff can get some sort of like triple reds or a second shot comes in for May, but May did just jump off, so we're not going to be seeing a cannon shot come in this lap.
Yeah, May jumping off does kind of seal the deal for at least Jeff's chance of a cannon dodge, but I
Right.
think there is a
At
chance.
least Bagger decided to not jump off either.
This could be quite an interesting play if Italy do get the shock again, but as of now, top 2, we do see Walpurgis through the wall there, but can Jeff be got out of his second place, or third place, sorry, we'll have to see. Top 2 still for Italy.
Mays sat at the boxes, he just jumped off, so definitely not a B&L shock's going to come in to help them, so it should be top 2 for Italy.
That red's going to be too late, I'm afraid, for Jeff. But
so it's a winning race for him. It depends if they can get the mid spots that we do see. You do go in 4th, I think that was. We did see quite a lot of people take that shroom cut though, so I'm not too sure if he was able to hold that. So top 2 is good for them, but if they got something like a 7-8, it's just not going to be the winning race that they're looking for. But they did get the good side. Well, it wasn't really lucky. It wasn't unlucky for Italy. They did deserve to get the shock there. Jeff was holding the bill and he did hit the box first in temp, so he was able to get it luckily, and it did help them quite a lot. So they did get top 2. Yeah, so Duke actually got sent all the way down to 8th. I'm not too sure if that was just me misinterpreting the battle glitch or if he was just all the way at the back anyway. So top 2's a winning race for them, I still think. They did get the 6th place, but 6-8 is not going to be enough for them, and we have 2 races left and it's looking very unlikely that Italy are going to be able to push this one for the win.
Yeah, 27 to 34 there, I believe now. We're in the level where Benelux have to basically be bottom 5 to lose the war, or be bottom 4 and then 4th or something, but
yeah. Possible last-ditch effort might come in, though. They might decide to actually just send all 5 running like B&L did.
I mean, it's something they're going to have to do if they want to win this. I think
exactly.
It might be worth them trying to just prevent it being a huge point difference gap at this point, because, of course, point difference is quite important.
I just feel bad for them now. They've been picking Luigi Circuit for 6 races. Doesn't look. We might see it last race, but once again, another front runner oriented track. Although the shock is very useful, it's 100cc, so those shrooms and those stars are going to help a lot more than they normally would. It's still a track with no shortcuts. You can get an easy breakaway. There's a lot of tight places on this track, especially in the cave, so you can back spam very well. Italy do start off the race with top 2, but that's instantly already going to be shot off. I think Tratio is still going to hold his first place for that, but it's just shrooms are so useful on this track since it's all off-road, and shrooms just pretty much still make you go max speed. He's going to spam him, try and get the star. Does actually get a TC though, and he's able to pass it straight away. Does actually get passed over to B&L anyway.
And we are going to be seeing Leo in a star actually, and
all
Jeff,
blue shell.
How's that blue? Does actually get
That's how to tilt. That's how to tilt someone. Oh god. When you're trying to MVP the war, and you just get stop redded 3 times by one of Italy, that's got to be a tilter. But although that was pretty bad for Jeff, it's going to send him all the way down to 8th by a substantial amount. It's still only just coming into lap 2. He should be able to get a lot of shrooms to catch him up, and maybe even a shock might come out. We're not too sure. I do see the baggers are nowhere near each other really, so I think Mays just sat in the pack, and Walpurgis I think actually just did jump off, so possible B&L shock might come in.
Possible B&L shock. We've got to see what Jeff can pull. He's got a star. Will he be holding it? Probably, if they have got the shock. They have currently got top 2 from, I think, the Battle Bugs perspective, or at least 2, 3. Not sure if they have got first, but quite an impressive situation for Benelux here. The shock does come in for Italy, actually.
Shock. That would have been the icing on the cake if he dodged and hit Jeff with his star, but just able to avoid it. We still, although a shock did come in, I mean, that top 3 break, as you can see at the start of the pack. Oh, he's trying to stop it again. Jeff's not having any of it. Lucky to actually get that star. They're just trying to throw everything at Jeff right now. Triple reds, bombs, triple reds. Able to actually avoid everything so far. Does get his own bomb. Might try and go for some sort of revenge snipe onto Alex, as he's going to chuck it forwards. Doesn't look like it's actually going to connect as it goes straight into the sea. Another shot comes in, and that's going to be another Italy dodge. And is he just going to go for him in his
yes,
star? Once again,
yes, he is.
And I think this is not going to be a good race for Jeff. Possibly losing his GP MVP.
Oh,
Another
no.
star coming in.
Oh
and
no!
this is basically trolling more. Jeff is just... The amount of unfunny cringe coming out from Jeff after this race is going to be through the roof. Back red randomly, single red in 7th, able to finally get Jeff with his single red. And I think this is going to be an 8th place guaranteed unless somehow Churchill doesn't hold on to his 7th star in, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Possibly
Yes, it will. Will he stop them?
He gets the blow in 7th.
That is interesting. That's an interesting view of a race. So I feel sorry for Jeff, but
Italy sure do know how to bring out the comedic value in wars. So
yes,
the blue shell would have been hilarious if he streamed past him and got blue. That would have probably been one of the World Cup 2017 greats, but able to get his 7th place after getting tortured for 2 laps, and he's still MVP'd the GP, so well played to Jeff. Did lose out on a possible 50-point GP or high 40s, as he did have to fend off for his 7th place for 2 laps, but that's still, I think that's going to mathematically put Italy out of the war.
Yeah, Benelux have hit the 366 mark, so no way of winning. Benelux have already got the win, so well done, Benelux.
I don't think I've seen any trolls, so most likely not. Are we going to see some sort of Simon Elson strat come out in the last race for point differential? There's only 1 track left. Shy Guy Beach is available. Hop everyone on 5 Magic Cruisers and win the race. And it'll at least possibly bring it within like 30 or 40, but we're already looking at, what's that, like a 62-point lead.
Magic Cruisers can be penalised, can't they now? So
can they?
Yeah.
That rule. You can get penalised having 1 race left and picking Magic Cruisers.
Yeah.
I think it should be penalised if you like forcefully reset and do it. But if there's 1 race left, I don't see why Italy can't do it. But
well, they're not allowed. I think it's in the rules where you can't use Magic Cruiser unless they weren't updated. But in WL you can't. I can tell you that much. And it's 100cc. Come on,
Again.
Jeff. Clearly they didn't agree to 150 only, as we have seen 100 come out a few times now, I think. But,
so you're going to be the track. So Jeff's like, just get me out of this war. Give me a quick race. I don't want to have to deal with another 3 minutes of being trolled.
Give me an easy 15.
Random indiv picks coming out from B&L as they've decided that the war is mathematically over. Are we finally going to see LC? No, we picked Jeff again.
Sorry!
Italy are
Sorry, Italy.
very upset that they didn't get to pick the Luigi circuit they've been picking since race 6.
Maybe out of all honour they should do a 13th race of Luge, but that's not going to be counting towards the final score, I'm afraid.
LC race, possibly, but I think they're just going to be resetting after this. Jeff most likely not going to be getting trolled unless they just decide to send someone backwards to piss off Jeff on stream. But it looks like all 10 players are just going to end up racing for the last race. There's no real kind of shocks that you can really get on this track except for like really late on lap 3. But Jeff should be able to hold his first place. There's not too much going to be hitting him. He's making sure that he has protection when he back spams. Doesn't look like he's... It looks like he's in third. Bomb does come in. Was able to avoid it though. Unlucky bomb attempt snipe, but I think Jeff should be able to hold a first place and left a very lucky shot.
Oh, a nice low trick as well.
Very nice low trick.
The funny thing when the Italy bagger is one of the higher spots for Italy at the moment, but Jeff has held quite the lead.
He's playing very safe, and I think that actually might lose his first place. It's going to be very close, as we do see Italian's bagger in 2nd place right now, actually able to get that back spam and plays it super safe. He wants his 15. Blue Shell comes in a little bit too late, and we are going to be seeing B&L close off that war. And they are going to be very happy with how they've started off this World Cup.
They'll be happy. Jeff won't. Jeff won't be too pleased.
So they play each other twice, don't they, in the groups? From what I'm aware of, do they?
I think so.
Oh no, it's group 5.
It's groups of 5.
Oh yeah, group 5, so it's probably, surely just going to be...
No, you don't play twice. Yeah. My brain is just not working
I thought it was
today.
randomly like 3-player groups.
No.
But B&L, they've got the 2-point lead. They should be able to close off and win a war against one of the other teams. They've already beaten the top seeded team in this group, which was Germany, so they're not going to have to worry about playing Germany again. They're going to actually nearly win that by 80 or so. So a very good GP win for BNL, very good war win for BNL. And as soon as they decided, look, there's no point trying to play all 5 runners against a team that just needs luck tracks and is picking all these luck tracks and getting shocked regularly, May decides they've had enough, and it just worked out for them. And they were able to crack open the wall like I was talking about in the earlier races. We saw it was like 8-point difference after 4 races, and then we instantly went out to like top 3s, top 2 4s, every other race. We want interview.
Who wants interview?
Hakeem wants an interview.
Hakeem isn't a part of either team, are they? So
Yeah, he's French.
He's French. That's not Benelux, I'm afraid.